Baseball lost its first two games to the coronavirus pandemic. This after ESPN reported 12 Miami Marlins players and 2 coaches tested positive for COVID-19. And Philadelphia Phillies, the Marlins opponent this past weekend, had to postpone tonight's game against the New York Yankees. Joining us with the latest now is Bloomberg's Brandon Koch-Koden. So there will be some games tonight, just not the ones here in the East Coast. Brandon, how much will this spread, in your opinion? Is it going to be confined to these particular teams that have already been exposed?
Well, I mean, that's the question. The Marlins played the Atlanta Braves before this, and their 2 starting catchers are already out because of COVID symptoms. We've seen the Cincinnati Reds had players sit out because they were feeling sick the other day. So presumably, this isn't confined to the Marlins, and obviously they're playing the Phillies, potentially spreads to them as well.
What can we assume, Brandon, or maybe it's too soon to assume this, but that it may be a mistake to get sports teams together in practice and then ultimately restarting leagues? And I say that obviously with an eye on the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the question going on. And MLB's approach of, they floated the idea of doing something similar to the NBA, of playing in a bubble, and that got shot down because the idea was bringing everyone to Arizona. The Players Association wasn't keen on that, among other reasons, because it's really, really hot in Arizona, and, there's only one indoor stadium there available. So the wisdom of restarting has been under question this entire time, but this, really brings it to the forefront even more than it's already been, which is sort of hard to believe.
What are the players themselves saying? Are they, showing a united front?
Yeah, so, I mean, one thing is, David Price is a former Cy Young Award winner with the Los Angeles Dodgers, or plays for the Dodgers now. He's decided to sit out the season. Earlier today, he tweeted basically saying, hey, this is, case in point why I didn't play. I didn't feel it was safe to do so. So there you have an example of someone who said he didn't believe in MLB, putting players' health first and coming out and kind of, not resisting the temptation to do the I told you so. For my part, I reached out to a couple agents today, and they've said that their players understand, their clients understand that, this was always a possibility and, that they accept it. But, you have to wonder, there's been guys, including superstars like Mike Trout from the Angels, who were on the fence about playing. And you certainly have to think that this might push some other guys, over the edge to saying, hey, look, I'm out now.
Given that the fans weren't going to be in attendance anytime soon, which would be obviously a hugely important step back to normal, is the pressure coming from TV revenue? Is that really what this is about? These teams there's pressure to play because that's where they make their money in these leagues?
Well, yeah, I mean, the league's not going to make money if they don't play games. It's as simple as that. And, the push is really to get to the playoffs because that's where the big TV revenue is. So, I don't think the owners... I don't think anyone thought, sitting out the season was a good idea from a financial perspective. And so it was, it's a hard temptation to turn down to basically forego an entire season and all, the prorated associated revenues.
Just seconds here, Brandon. What would it take for them to close down the season, do you think?
Well, that's a good question. Earlier this, I think the only indication we really have is earlier this month, Commissioner Manfred did an interview. And in that interview, he said that, because it's a 60-game season, if 1 or 2 teams were severely affected and couldn't play a bunch of games, that, for the integrity of the schedule, they would have to consider canceling. Or he said, think very hard about what they're doing. Well, it seems like we're already at that point. So, there's a meeting today with the owners that was, I believe, regularly scheduled. But, certainly you would think it's being discussed now, the wisdom of continuing.